jumps out is there's another game where you guys had a deficit and you were able to come back. Tonight it was 14. You've had a few games like that.
Right.
Just, I guess, talk about how you guys just hang in there, keep playing.
We stay together. We just stay poised. It's a long game. We know it's a game of runs. They went on a couple of runs early. We got together like it's our turn. We got to punch back. Coach always says we got to. They have a punch. We got to counter punch that. So we stayed together and we were able to make it happen.
I thought, something that helped at times caused them some problems with some full court pressure.
Right.
Maybe make them take longer to get into their offense, reverse the ball. I know they like to hunt for threes,
right.
but I guess the pressure tonight had a role tonight.
Definitely, and it definitely helped us as well. It helped us get into our style of basketball. You know, speeding the game up a little bit. We like to get out. You know, we're a young team. We got fresh legs, so definitely pressuring in the full court helped us get our motor back and get back into the game.
And you guys are 8-0 at home, 9-4 overall. I think you guys won 11 games total last year. Just, I guess, talk about the energy of this team. You're winning. Won 3 in a row now, overall vibe.
Yeah, the energy is great. You know, we got a bunch of guys who just want to win. That's all we think about is winning. Every day in practice, we push each other. We work hard. Light blue, navy teams, we just go at each other, winners. Everybody on this squad, from first man to whatever, we all just want to play hard and just get the dub. That's all we care about. So I think that plays into our 8-0 at home.
What does it mean that, you know, even on a night where Deuce doesn't shoot as well, you get the bench to get going the way the bench was able to tonight?
You know, there's going to be games like that as next man up. I trust in Deuce every time he gets the ball and shoot it. He can go 0 for 20, and I let him shoot another one. I don't care. But, you know, the bench guys, it doesn't matter who it is. They're going to come in ready. They're going to come prepared, make defensive plays, make stops, make buckets, and we all got a good team as to where everybody down the line can make big plays and help each other get the win. So,
how important is seeing the bench scoring now that it helps you come conference play?
It's big time. Yeah, the bench scoring, like I said earlier, going down the line, the depth of this team is outstanding. We have a bunch of guys who love to just go and play for each other. So knowing that we can bring anybody off the bench, it doesn't matter. They're going to come in, get buckets, get stops, and do whatever we need to win. That's very important for us.
So PJ, I'll ask the same thing as him. You guys have had some deficits this year, and you've come back, I think, 5-6 games now.
Yes, sir.
What does that say about this team?
You know, we just don't give up. We just fight through adversity. Like, the biggest thing with us is, you know, not letting those poor starting performances get to us. You know, that's a big thing that a lot of teams struggle with. So I'm very happy that we're a team that can overcome that adversity and, you know, fight back after, you know, getting punched in the face. You know, Coach talks about it all the time. You know, you take a punch, you punch right back. You can't just fall down and, you know, take it basically. So I'm just proud of how well we adapt. You know, obviously that goes to show we got to start off a little bit stronger. But honestly, just the poise and the fight that our guys have, I just couldn't be more proud.
And your 3-point stroke obviously is a strength to your game. You had it feeling pretty good tonight. I mean, is it something you know when the first one goes down, or how's that vibe when you know it's going to be a good one? We saw it against Arizona State.
Yes, sir. Honestly, to me, I think that every shot I take is going in. I think that's a thing that every true shooter has to feel. Yeah. If you shoot it and you don't know if it's going in, I think that's one of the key things to be a true sharp shooter is you need to think that every shot's going in. So, I mean, obviously there's some times where I'm like, oh, that was a rough one, but when I shoot the ball, I think that ball's going in every time. So I think it's just a confidence thing with me, and you know, just all the work I put into, you know, gain this ability. I think that just combined with confidence is, you know, what allows me to make those shots.
And you missed the last one. Physically, did you feel good coming back into this game?
Oh yeah. I can't thank the training staff enough. Eli, just, you know, I would not have gotten to be able to play in this game if it wasn't for Eli. I heard it last Tuesday, and guess what? I'm playing next Thursday. So it's like I can't thank the training staff enough, and you know, it's just a blessing to be able to play with these guys. So.
Big picture, when you made the decision to transfer out here, you don't always know what you're walking into. What's your impression now, 11 games under your belt in this team, 9-4?
That's honestly the best decision I've ever made. I had some other great opportunities, but it's very clear that, you know, I picked a great coach, I picked a great team, and I mean, I would not go back and change a thing. This is exactly what I would do if I could do it over again, and I'm just so happy to be here. So.
PJ, what did it mean that you're able to get those big runs, both that big 16-4 run in the first half and then that 23 run in the second half?
Honestly, it's just locking down on defense. I think the biggest thing is when we start the game, I think we're a little lax. I think sometimes we got to have that effort, and the bench just comes in and kills it. So we just do a great job of just bouncing back. We listen to coach, we listen to what he has for us, and we just lock in and play defense. I think that's where it all starts. So.
Talk about your bench. What was it like seeing them outscore South Dakota 22-4?
I mean, that just goes to show you how many skilled guys we got. We have a very talented roster, and obviously you can only put 5 guys on the court at a time. So just to be able to have that, that option to go to our bench, and honestly, on any other D1 team, these guys are starting. So just to have such skilled players and we have such great depth, it's just a blessing. So.
Thanks, PJ.
Thank you very much, guys.
The same thing I asked you after the last game. What's your overall impression of what you just saw?
Well, the pluck, the bounce back ability of this team within a game is what impresses me most. We fell down 12, and I believe we've been behind in every home game that we've won. And so I really applaud our guys for using ingenuity and resourcefulness and enough fight and poise. When you fall down, sometimes there's a tendency to panic, and it can divide you. And sometimes players try and come back, through an individual effort because that's their fallback, because throughout their career they've been good enough to dominate and lead their team individually to a win. And in the college level, you can't do that. There's a razor thin margin for error, and you have to do it collectively and solve problems collectively. And I thought, different people stepped up over the course of the game. Wayne was outstanding throughout. One of his better games, 0 turnovers and timely baskets, and playing through the foul trouble after the unfortunate technical foul, and coming off the bench in the second half, but then picking up right where he left off from. Our 2 bigs, Steven close to another double-double, and Jimmy were outstanding and really controlled the lane. And South Dakota State, is 12th in the country in 3-point shooting at 40% coming in. So we knew they were an outstanding shooting team, and they lit us up early to build that lead. But at the end of the game, they ended up shooting 29%. So our goal was, 30% or below, and we actually hit that goal. I think from the field, they were 39%, so we held them under 40, which is another good goal in terms of elite basketball. But yeah, it's really more the group collectively has this ability to keep their poise, solve problems as we move through the game, and make adjustments or modify what needs to take place so we can win.
Because of your length and the depth with some of your length, you could do a lot of things schematically. I mean, you could play half-court man, you could play zone, you could full-court press and go fall back into zone. Just as coaching staff, what are you discovering about the options that you have with this group?
No, it's really interesting because unlike football, where you can sub in, special teams goes on the field or defense goes on the field, a short yardage lineup, down by the goal line, goes on the field. We have to go up and down the floor. We can sub some, and change the combinations, because there are certain groups where our size can really protect the castle, protect the rim, and offensively generate some nice production through their length. We do have a different team that's really impressive with our press. It's a little more of a quicker pressing team. And then we have a better offensive team that's not as strong defensively. So there's a lot of adjustments, but it's a luxury to have the versatility and the depth. And we've yet to have our team at full strength. Not one game this year have we had. It's 2 guys come back, like Steven and David came back.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't play tonight.
Right, and then we lost
You get PJ.
Dragos and PJ.
Yeah.
And then they came back, and then David goes down. So we can't, for some reason, get the whole team, back together. Actually, we've never been together. We have in practice, but we've never played in a game yet at full strength. But I think that'll be a positive, because other players have gotten big minutes, and in big moments, Devin Dalkey, I thought, quiet contributor today when we were in the desert. You know, he came up with a bucket, and he had another opportunistic bucket later, and defensively harassed South Dakota State on the three-point line. So, but yeah, to your point, I think what you saw tonight is what you're going to see a lot this year. We played a switching man-to-man defense where we switch 1 through 5 because our bigs have good footwork. We played some 2-3. We played some 1-2-2. We had a diamond press. We had a 12 press, which is three-quarter court pickup. We did some trapping out of it, and just all of it's searching for stop defensively and searching for some combination that will help us offensively and trying to stay out of that desert and to be competitive and be able to come back in games like we did tonight.
And then my last thing, because you do have, you have 8 days between now and your next game with a holiday right in between.
Fresno
How are you
State
handling
coming in.
time off, practice, family?
Yeah, family right now, and celebrate Christmas, come back Christmas night, and then practice on the 26th, and prepare for Fresno State. And I think the break may help us. We've had a couple kids that had mono. We've had multiple sprained ankles and foot injuries and stress fractures. So I think a chance to kind of recharge the batteries couldn't have come at a better time. You naturally want to keep playing when you're in the midst of a winning streak because let's play two Ernie Banks style. But it's also good, I think, that they get a little recharge.
Specifically about Hayes, when you're looking for transfers potentially, he was really good at the level he was at, but you don't always know how that's going to translate. I mean, he's got a stroke, that's obvious.
Yep.
What have you seen from him? What are you seeing from him, and how is it working out?
Yeah, one thing we knew he could really shoot the ball, but when we watched, film on him from the past couple years, he showed the ability to pass and to drive, and I think we're starting to see that as the season goes along. He's a little more opportunistic because people are really jamming him out of respect for his ability to shoot from long range, and so now he's putting it on the deck to finish or to get fouled or to spray the ball to his teammates. So he's showing some moxie and savvy in terms of having more than just the ability to shoot the ball. And he's the son of a coach, so I think he understands situations in games and has an idea of what we're trying to do. There's times we sub just because we feel like there's certain defensive units that can help us late. We do some offense-defense subbing down the stretch in games. But even with that, he's got a good attitude about it. Sometimes a player will take offense to it, instead of just realizing, like, hey, we got to utilize what we have. Don Muncie is a tough defender. And Devin Dalkey's a tough defender. And Kevin with his length. And then our two bigs, there's going to be times. And Wayne is stout, even though he's, diminutive in size, height. But he's really a stout player, probably the strongest player on the team. So. But yeah, PJ's been exactly what we hoped for in terms of stretching opponents' defenses, opening up lanes for us to be able to drive into, creating more time and space for our bigs to operate down low because you got to pick their poison. If they collapse on our bigs, PJ and Deuce will make you pay. Wayne's improved his perimeter shot. And if they stay stretched to those shooters, then our bigs, like Jimmy and Steven, now have a little more time to get into their bag of offensive skills in the basket area.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, during those
How are you? 2
big runs that you guys had, both in the first half and the second half, what was the message to the team during those timeouts that set up those big runs?
Yeah, one was kind of lighthearted when we were down 12. One of the timeouts, I said, we got them right where we want them. We've been down 19 on this court. We've been down 16 and 12, and so it's familiar territory for us. And I said, look, I prefer to get out to a bigger lead, to have a lead. So we've got a little cushion to absorb a team's counterpunching. But for now, until we resolve that issue, let's own who we are, which is the comeback kids. And this is what we do. And we're going to keep working on getting off to better starts. But in the meantime, let's do what we've done before. And next media timeout, let's chip away and get it down to a couple possessions. And the next media timeout, let's tie it up. Second half will be ours at home. But South Dakota State kept answering. Their rebounding impressed me. We knew about their shooting, prolific 40% team in terms of shooting from long range, but we didn't see on the tape against recent opponents the second and third efforts. They had a lot of fight, and we talked about that. They had a wounded bear, which is what they were. we were in that position a few weeks back, getting beat like a drum at Stanford, beat like a drum at Utah State, and that led to kind of a resolute approach, a resolve, a hard edge that we've had from those beatdowns. It helped us beat Arizona State, Portland State, and come back tonight to win. So we expected them, after their struggles on the road, to not want to go into Christmas with a loss. Who does, right? No one wants the Grinch to show itself on as we roll into Christmas. So I thought they were well prepared, well coached, executed their game plan, and bounced the ball, right? A couple possessions go the other way, and we've got ourselves a loss going into Christmas. So a lot of respect, hats off to South Dakota State, and that's good coaching when you can take your team that's been down and out and on the mat and bring them back to compete the way they did throughout is really what coaching's all about.
What was it like seeing on your bench? Jimmy gave you 12 points plus 5 in that, and then also Kevin with his 3 blocks and providing that plus 7.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Kevin is a unique player, to have it because of his size and his length and the skill set, right? He's a difficult matchup for opponents because he can take slower, defenders off the bounce to create for himself and teammates. He can post up against smaller defenders. He can lead the break off a rebound. He blocks shots in a manner that shows his intelligence, where he doesn't pick up fouls, but makes opponents adjust shots, as well as his ability to just straight out block them. So, and I thought Devin, was impressive. And in a night where Deuce Turner goes 1 for 10, to still be able to find a way to win is a real plus, because he's not going to have, many games where he goes 1 for 10. He's as, prolific, as impressive a scorer as I've coached. He's up there with some of the very best, Capono and Dwight Hardy, and some other outstanding, D'Angelo Harrison. I mean, he's a player who can really get it cooking. And tonight he didn't, for whatever reason. But again, instead of us losing the game, some other combination stepped up. And his presence helps us even when he's not shooting the ball, because he's got a stabilizing, kind of presence for this young team. But I thought Devin Dockey was impressive. Dom Muncie had a big steal. We needed all those little possessions to have an opportunity, to come back and then eventually take the lead and then assault the victory away. And I thought Wayne's stewardship, leadership throughout was impressive.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, and Jimmy came off the bench.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to consider that major contributions too, yeah. So. All right, you guys, Merry Christmas.
Get that mic
Yeah,
from you.
Merry Christmas.